So before we get into gear stats and how aspects work and all that, I would strongly suggest that you go to game, you go to options, you go to gameplay, and you scroll down and toggle these two things on. Advanced Tooltip Compare and Advanced Tooltip Information. When this is enabled, comparing item tooltips, properties gained, lost, and changes to equip skills will be displayed when it's off. When comparing item tooltips, only the primary stat will be compared. An advanced tooltip information display advanced information on tooltips such as item, property ranges, lucky hit chance on skills, and indicators as to whether modifications are an additive or multiplicative. I am French after all. Okay, so now let's get into this really quick because I didn't understand this when I first was looking at it. I was like, oh my god, look at all these numbers and brackets. What in the holy pineapple is going on? So let's take a look at my weapon, for example, here, okay? Now, I don't have a mouse cursor that I can kind of drag over, but I want you to pay attention to, a couple of lines down under the 666, you know what I'm saying? Damage per second, where it says 33% damage to healthy enemies. Notice in the bracket how it says 33%? Well, that's the maximum that stat can be on that weapon at this level. Okay? So that means that is a perfect stat for that. Let's go one below, underneath the line at the midway point. Plus 34 to all stats. What's in brackets? 26 to 34. So that means that this weapon, this level, this rarity, it could be as low as 26. You're guaranteed to get at least 26 to all stats, but the highest you'll get is 34. Again, that's a perfect stat. Okay? Then the 18% damage to crowd-controlled enemies could range between 12 to 19. So I'm almost at the top. Okay? Then the very bottom one, you get it? Okay? So what can happen is when you're at level 100, which I believe is the highest level that you get gear is level 100. Let's say you had a rare like this that was level 100. Okay? And you wanted to remove an aspect, a legendary bonus. Like, for example here, what's that orange writing with the orange star? That's the legendary aspect on this world drop that I got. It's actually on the weapon or the piece of armor that you're wearing. Landslides, earth pillars, each strike a second time, dealing an additional 14%. As you can tell, this one's at the very bottom. But let's see, I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I love this thing. Because this is a world drop, you can only do this one time. I could remove that aspect and place it on this rare and turn this into a legendary. So what's going to happen is when you're getting high-level rares, some of those are going to be worth more than legendaries because of these stats. Like I've already shown you 2 perfect stats on this level 37. Now, for the weapon itself, as far as I understand it, I don't know if this one's 4 times because it's a legendary, but if you look at the top next to the yellow star, it says upgrades 3 of 4. I've upgraded it a couple of times, but it's still only going to be a level 26. I can't, upgrade it to my level. Another thing you want to keep into consideration when you're removing aspects are aspects that do a specified number of damage, which I don't have on here. But let's say you had something that said landslide, earth pillars, each strike a second time for an additional 200. Anything that's number-based for an aspect isn't all that great because when you're at level 100, an extra 20 or 30 damage is piss stain. It's nothing. It's worthless. You want to look for things that are percentage-based because something that's max percent is max percent. So in this case, 24%. Well, 24% of your landslides at level 100, that scales properly. Get it? So you don't want things with a number on it when they're super low level. When you're wondering if you should hoard onto a lot of your older legendaries that aren't even max level. Okay? Now, another thing to keep in mind is that world drops, these are called world aspects. I call them world aspects. Okay? These can roll perfect stats, as I've already highlighted. Okay? Or even this one, Cyclone Armor. It also provides physical damage. It's a druid skill. It's passive. It's on me all the time. Okay? Basically, I reduce by almost 15% non-physical damage. But this legendary perk here makes it so that it also applies to physical damage and all nearby allies. It is absolutely insane. And then you get to see the swirly thing on them. It's amazing. So something like this, it doesn't matter that it's only a level 29. Apply that to a level piece of 100 gear and you're rocking. The problem is you can only do that once with a world drop aspect, or what I call a world aspect. Whereas when you look at your dungeons here and you can get an aspect, okay? For example, Necro only. While Army of the Dead is active, your minions gain 70% attack speed and take 90% reduced damage. My understanding is that these dungeon aspects can never roll something perfect that you would get from a world drop. But these can be extracted and reapplied an unlimited amount of time. Okay? So that's what makes these special. So again, hurricane damage is increased by 7% each second while active. Maybe there's a world aspect out there that maybe it's 10%, 12%. You see what I'm saying? So these can never be a perfect roll, but the trade-off is you can always use them infinitely. You keep removing them, applying them, removing them, applying them. That's the main takeaway from this video that I want to share with you. If you have something that's really effing cool, that's percentage based, not number based, or just has a very specific skill like this that can be applied, you can only use that once, but it has the ability to be a perfect roll. Just like in the case of the weapon that I'm currently using. There's 2 perfect stats on here. As far as I know, you cannot remove aspects or stats from like a rare like this. It has to be a legendary. It's got to be the orange star with the orange writing. That's the aspect there. That was 7.5 minutes. Hopefully, oh boy, this kind of made sense. In my head it does, and up until yesterday night, I had no idea what the hell any of this meant. I didn't know that these could only be used once if they're world, but they could be perfect stats. I didn't know that a high, like pretend that's a level 100 rare. I didn't know that that could be turned into a legendary by applying an aspect from another piece of gear. Like, I did not know any of that stuff. So that's why I want to bring that to your attention. I'm sorry that it was an 8-minute video. I wish I could have done all this in 2 minutes, but I don't feel like I would have been able to have gotten all the information across that I wanted to share it with you. Okay? So I'm going to end it here. This is not meant to be an in-depth guide or explanation. This is a noob intro to just gear stats and how aspects work, roughly. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. And as always, we'll bend it in half, twist it, and break it off in your ass. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, naturally, that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.